Hello, welcome back to another session of our Werewolf Chronicle, Shadows over Kempten. Session 9, Duty Calls. Not one of my most inventive names, but I could not think. I didn't know. I didn't know. I don't know why I decided I would name every single session, because, well, we were just talking about being pedantic, that's why. So yeah, we're back. Another week, another Werewolf Wednesday, and we're gonna be picking right where we left off. Which should happen less and less as the game progresses, because we should have some time skips in or there for downtime stuff, but that's a topic for another time, because all the sept introductions are still going to be relevant. Before we begin, just would like to clarify that Morak won't be able to join us today, but hopefully they have a very lovely time today. And Mundas should be here any minute now. Running a bit late, but we'll still have them today. I hope, because there was something I wanted to have Hugin talking about, because they're both Grino's born.
Ooh, exciting. Ooh.
Because couldn't do that because Mundas opted to sit last session out, and that's still a topic I wanted to explore in session. It's good to clarify for our lovely audience that there are other things that go on in the background. We have play-by-post sessions to deal with downtime and other background developments. Some things, and that's a good thing to clarify not only to viewers but to the players, some things as a storyteller, especially when it involves NPCs and all of that, I will keep away from the text roleplay, like Hugin, what Hugin's going to be talking about, for example. It's not something I would do in play-by-post, because I want this to happen during the session, especially because it helps to not only further the story along, but also develop those characters you'll be interacting with so much a little bit more, and tie you in to the things happening around you. With all that said, and without further ado, let's get right back into it.
Okay.
To contextualize, after being welcomed into the set by the warden, its guardian in a sense, security guard maybe, he tasked another pack to escort you around and give you a little tour. The Mist Seekers, for lovely people who introduced you to all the Sept's amenities, introduced you. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Just in time.
Hello.
They introduced you to all the Sept's amenities, had some time to get acquainted with them, met the very lovely blacksmith lady.
Yeah.
And also some of the Garou in
Gesundheit.
the Trailblazers back. And you were just about finishing up, saying your goodbyes. You alright?
Yeah, okay.
Mundas came in here just to perish, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it happens,
Okay,
it happens.
The curse, it has me.
Oh no.
No.
The mummy's curse. The Pharaoh's curse. It
Mummies.
Coming upstairs.
Well,
God damn it, we talk about the blacksmith one time.
that's all it takes. That's all you need.
Yep.
Oh, and today I don't have that audio problem that makes me lose my mind every other session.
Hey!
Did I do anything to fix it? No, it just didn't happen. So it's going to be a lottery every
I love it
time.
when things just don't happen.
It's OBS. It's OBS being OBS and being weird. But then again, that's always the case. And as they're all wrapping things up with the Mistseekers, Rotha, good thing you arrived just in time for it. Hugin approaches you, the fellow Krynosborn. In the other pack. Hugin eyes beyond the veil. He's their T-Urge, apparently.
Okay.
And he carefully approaches you. He has a more reserved demeanor, which you can probably understand and take a guess of why.
Absolutely. Yeah, it takes... Yeah, absolutely. Have to be intentionally gentle.
Yeah, among other things.
Oh, hello, Hugin.
Rotha, was it? Oh yeah,
Yes,
did you
Hugin,
did you see your deed name that I posted?
I didn't. I got a deed name?
Yeah, everyone did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
We
repost
all
it.
have these names.
What's
Because
Donovan
I
chat?
posted it in chat and ended up
Oh,
not
okay.
acknowledging that in session because everyone was just
I love
adding
that!
it. Because everyone
Oh,
was
that's
just
a
adding
good-
to theirs.
That's a good deed name. I like it.
Let me show the stream. Oh, that doesn't work because I have to see.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'll just read it out.
I'm
we
so glad that
have-
we got to listen to you react to that live. That makes me very happy.
Yes, yeah, I'm so happy. I think you and Torstens were the ones that I had many different ways I wanted to execute the same idea, but I am glad with the ones that I ended up with. But to clarify all of your D names to the people watching, we have Alexander, the happiest bear. Jakob defies the Riddler. Klaus, fiercest mother. Rotha is revels in folklore. And Thorsten is heart dripping with ink.
Excellent.
So good.
These are some top shelf deed names right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
So Hugin addresses me in my deed name?
Yeah, we can assume you guys introduce yours. If you want that to be
Okay.
your... Unless you want to introduce yourself, like
Oh, I'm
interject.
just asking out of character. That's
Oh no, yeah,
I-
I'm saying that if you want to interject, with a more formal introduction, you can.
Oh no, that's fine.
Otherwise, you just say
it's-
Rotha.
Sorry if I'm also interjecting in this scene. Are the deed names a thing that we also in character know? Because I don't think we had a scene where we were told our deed names.
Yeah,
Sort of
it's
thing.
because I was still thinking about them, but the elders right after acknowledging Rite of Passage would have bestowed them upon you.
Okay, good to know. And
So-
know the deed name.
Yeah, you all know.
Thank you.
I forgot to acknowledge that, make that point. But yeah, he approaches Rotha, was it?
Yes. Hello. She was
I-
like sitting down reading a book and she closes it, sticks it in her little satchel.
He kneels close to you. Not to intrude. You are Shentar's brute, aren't you?
I'm gonna try to do an empathy check. I'm gonna see what this guy's disposition is.
Fair, absolutely fair. Empathy and wits.
Difficulty?
Honestly, 5. He's not trying to hide anything. I think
Okay.
quite the opposite, actually. Which is definitely a sentence for a Shadow Lord. Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Oh, weird. Whenever I trigger my wits, it automatically drops my difficulty.
Cause of the shape thing. Are you in
Oh,
Lucas
okay.
Farm?
All right.
Or Rhinos
Well,
also
in that
get
case,
that?
I am. Let me check my forms.
I mean,
It doesn't matter, does it?
Holy!
Rob already said I'm an empath.
Did it? No, never mind. I am going senile. I was gonna ask a question, I just realized I shouldn't. Because I should know that answer. It's fine.
Well, now I desperately want to know.
My brain farted and I immediately forgot something I just saw, but it doesn't matter.
Ah.
Anyway, with all of those tasty successes, not only can you attest that there is no malice there and he's genuinely curious, there seems to be more than curiosity, a genuine interest.
So, she'll relax her shoulders a little bit, square herself, and smile. And she says, "Yes, I am a child of Shantar."
In fact, with 5 successes, you can know for a fact that he's doing his best to not be offensive. You can just see in his eyes he is uncomfortable, feeling like he's being invasive.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, not awesome that he's uncomfortable, but, you know.
Yeah, that he's not a prick.
Yeah. Okay. So, she'll say, yes, I was chosen by Shantar.
You grew up with a kinfolk family, I assume. Once connected to what your rising tribe does, isn't it?
She pauses at this. Again, considering how much to share. And she says, I was raised by my grandmother.
I see. I guess I didn't have a grandmother, but I guess I could call the den mother. Mother of sorts. I think it's how most other Garou experience motherhood, but not as bad as most people assume Shadow Lord Seps are. I know this is all sudden, it's just... We grow up hearing stories, you know? All of those tales and rumors about the Hearthbound, which you supposedly do and stand for, and I guess every single one of us grows with different feelings towards it, some having a pull towards it, some distrust it, some don't care, they have more pressing issues. Shadow Lords aren't as bad as people think. So tortured as a cub. I'm pretty sure we had a camp for doing exactly what your tribe does. But I'm not gonna sell it as a utopia. We are not the children of Gaia. I guess that was just a part of me wondering, you know, how that feels. That different upbringing.
She pauses and looks at her hands. And then she looks up and says, I feel loved.
His ears perk up and his eyes slightly widen with surprise. That definitely seems like a strong word to him. Very, very strong word. His disposition relaxes a little bit. You see his ears seem to twitch. And his 3 unnatural eyes on the side of his face kind of look away. Even if the 2 stormy ones keep their eyes on you. Huh. That's... I'm happy for you. I really am. I wish that was the default.
She considers this for a moment, and I'd say that the expression on her face, like, isn't entirely readable. But she says, we don't choose how we're born, but we make our own families. Sometimes they include the people you're born with. Sometimes they don't.
He muses, looks over his shoulder towards his back, nods. Loved, huh? He turns to look back at you. Yeah, I think you're right.
Lota says, you are loved too. As she looks at their pack.
He has a gentle smile. Yeah, I guess I'm still figuring that out. It's nice to be with other tribes. I grew up in... Well, actually, I think... Besides Julian being born here, I guess we all grew up in mixed septs. Not mixed. In single tribal septs. Rhaena grew up with the Furies. Wolf ran with the children of Gaia. Was born in the Shadow Lord Sept. And everyone talks about.
It is good and nice, she says, like hesitating between her words. She says, I did not grow up in a sept.
So I've heard.
It is nice to meet others like me.
Huh. Guess I didn't consider that perspective. Then again, I suppose we tend to imagine the things opposite to our own experiences. I grew up surrounded by others like me. I guess in a sense we were all siblings. The runs of the Sept, the small pack of Krynos born that the poor Den mother had to raise. It was kind of fun. It was hard. Not entirely pleasant. We could have rough house. More, I suppose it was never lonely in that sense, but it does feel isolating. Being in a place, growing up so hyperly aware you're different, you're other in your own home. You're an other.
She's thinking about this, and she's kind of chewing it in her mind a moment, picking her words. And She says, when we live the way we do, merely existing in a state of fear of our own kind, it feels like you have to live not just day by day, but hour by hour, and at time, breath by breath.
Interestingly, it seems the Hommids go for that too. The things I've learned from Karina, Julius... Julian?
Gonna be making us smoothies.
Fucking mistaking my own character names. My own son.
It's alright. I got a player named Julia and an NPC named Julie, and I screw them up all the time.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Try being named Van. It's terrible.
I mean, I can't imagine, but it's such one of my favorite names that, like...
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Anyhow, it's interesting to think about. I suppose in the end we really are a bridge between wolf and human and something else. Never thought any Krynosborn, or any non-Krynosborn, would understand. I guess human society is as messy as Garou society. Maybe more. Have a central cause to bring them back together. But we can help, I guess, along the way. Still, he looks around. I'm glad I came to this place. It's not perfect. The Get are hard to get along. They're set on their ways, very prideful. But when they look me in the eyes, we stand as equals. I don't care for the conditions of my birth. Just my capacity to do my job.
I shall be respectful. I shall be loyal. I shall be just. I shall live by my word. This is the code of honor.
He nods.
I measure my fellow Garou by the codes and creeds. Garou are a lot like humans. That it matters more to pay attention to the things they do rather than the things they say.
Agreed. You fit right in with the set then.
She says, can you tell me about this sept?
Oh. What do you want to know? And he leaves that question open kind of to everyone, not just Rotha.
I was going to ask how much of this conversation was like something we could overhear,
I mean, depends
or
on...
was that just like addressed at the group as whole?
Hugin wasn't trying to, like, talk and, like, be discreet. He doesn't mind others hearing. He was more preoccupied on asking the word in a polite way. So it depends on Rotha, and if Rotha wants that to be just between the two.
You know, I'm gonna say Rota is too autistic to control the volume of her voice.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I think that everybody can hear her.
I almost spit tea everywhere.
Oh no.
At least those paying attention.
We heard. Oh, we
So
heard. I
sh-
feel loved. We heard
so
that.
yeah, you heard that.
You heard Rotha say, "I feel loved," and you heard Hugin's heart shatter.
Oh
That was
wow,
always
it was like
music.
that audible.
You heard the car crash inside his chest.
Well, you gotta put the earworm in their brain so that they start thinking about it.
Oh.
See, that's how you get people to defect from their tribes. See that?
Oh no, he's not gonna. Let me tell you something. He's not gonna. There's actually something I was gonna say, but ended up not fitting in the conversation. Was saying like, I wonder if he was going to say something to the effect of like, I always wondered if meeting a Hearthbound was going to change, like, gonna make me question things. It gave me new perspectives, but it it asserts my love for my own tribe, or at least his respect for it.
That's understandable.
And Trota, it is about love, like including the wrong kinds of love.
Wonder if I wonder if that love thing is gonna be a plot hook later. Anyway, he really opens the question to the back sides of Rotha, like,
Yes, I swear to God.
whatever you want to know about the Sept, you can ask now, or about specific people, or whatever.
I mean, just from my understanding, because that's a thing that Thorsten, I think, would have gotten by now. The Sept itself is not just this area, but like the whole like little township, right?
What do you mean
Or is the Sept
township?
You said there was some town.
Kempten, yeah?
I mean, yeah,
Kempten.
Kempten is a town nearby that they kind of protect, is kind of their hub.
That
Like,
is-
this town is
and
not
the-
part of the Sept.
Perfect. That is the big question.
The
Thank you,
Sept is exclusively an area within the forest. Basically, how a Sept work is, you have a cairn that is a physical representation of the Earth Spirit. Like, it is a well of spirit, but they usually build something physically to represent the cairn. The cairn is a spiritual phase, like a beacon of life in the spiritual world that is connected to the physical, and it has a patron that serves as the Sept patron. And the Sept is built around the cairn. It's a geographical area, like it has limits depending on the strength of the cairn. And then it has the bomb, that it's like the entrance, the surrounding area, like the perimeter. So the Sept itself is like those specific buildings, the Rite Master's Cave, the burial grounds, the little standing stone that is the cairn at the center. And then like
Nice.
most of the wooded area is the bound, and when you've left the bound, when you're starting to like get back into hike trails and roads and vehicle access and all of that. You're at the very heart of Black Forest right now. You're deep in those woods.
Lee, I got an OC question.
Yeah.
Just from like what this guy's telling us, can I get a grasp of where like the ritual grounds are? Or like where rituals are being held and stuff?
There isn't a rituals place. It depends on what needs to be performed, but most rites are performed during a moot, which you assume would happen around the cairn itself, and the massive like bonfire that's sitting unlit right now. That's easy to like just guesswork your way through.
Okay. So there's no like established this is our ritual area.
No.
Nor does it like okay, cool.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna like have Jakob take like one step forward and ask, do you know how to mosh?
He looks at you. His 5 eyes blink. He looks towards his back. And Julian and Corina just roll their arms up and go, I do! And Hugin looks back at Rotha, so you had any questions? He has no idea what you just asked him.
What were the circumstances under which this cairn first came together?
He blinks again, a second time. You guys have the interesting questions, huh? He is about to start saying it, but he looks over to Wolfren and nods, and Wolfren, being their Galliard, steps forward. He smiles and nods back at his packmate, and kinda looks at all of you. From what I gathered, since I've arrived here, this is the most sacred cairn of the Get of Fenris. This exact place where we're standing here is supposedly the site of a great battle the Get fought back in the Roman times. They stopped a Roman legion from invading into Germany and colonizing this area. And they say Great Fenris himself struck down the place where the cairn is open. This is Fenris's cairn, according to their legends.
She nods. Do you know if any part of the original Fenris legends took place here?
Huh. I will have to confirm. There's certainly a lot of legends to this place. I don't know if the more frequently told ones are take place here. I'm gonna have to ask that later. That's a great question.
She says, can you tell me about the heart?
He looks back at Hugin, who retakes the stick, the proverbial stick. This is one of the greatest cairns around the world. One of the most powerful of cairns. Cairn of strength. What exactly did you want to know about it?
Well, what does strength manifest from the spirit look like?
Well, that falls to Vor. The Sept Patron. Or is a great well, not great hunter. Hunters fear the boar. He is a fierce fighter. He doesn't give ground. He stands. He fights head on. They really embody the way the Get of Fenris just fight their hardest and don't bow down. They protect what's theirs. They protect their territory. They are more resilient. Both the Sept and its people. With the Sept's power and War's blessings, we stand strong.
Would it be in my pack's best interest to embrace this stance and outlook while we are here?
I suppose that's up to you. See, if you ask around, say you get 3 Gets of Fenrir in a single room, and ask them what strength means, you probably get 5 different answers and a massive argument that will inevitably end with headbutting. But they're not as literal. But they're not as literal as most people think. You said something about a gift?
I think I would like to use Memory Circle
Oh, yes. We can do that.
record, to mentally note and record everything that we're talking about here.
Fair.
The gift is performed in 2 parts. When hearing words the Galliard wants to remember perfectly, she spends 1 point of gnosis, and I'll do that now. As this happens, the storyteller should write down exactly what she's committing to umbral memory. Later, when she wishes to retrieve the memory, she may spend 1 willpower and ask the storyteller to read it back verbatim. The use of this gift leaves tiny, clear spheres matted within the Garou's fur that can be seen within the Umbra, the so-called memory circles. Should the Garou wish to remove a memory circle, she may do so by simply pulling it out of their fur while in the Umbra. Also, it is possible that a combat within the Umbra might break some of the circles at the storyteller's discretion.
Well, I'm not gonna note down recite verbatim, but the guess is there. The guess is going to be there.
Okay.
Can I just say, that's the coolest fucking thing.
Oh yeah, it's
That's the
amazing.
coolest fucking thing.
Galliards are underrated.
That's just like the magic of making YouTube shorts, but like with real life.
Yeah.
Basically, you know what? Yeah.
Like chat, clip that chat. Thank you.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Rafa is like, oh wait, I will look at the old VODs. Give me a second.
No, literally. Memory Circle is basically I rewatch the session and it's no longer metagaming. Which it's
Yeah.
which
That's so good.
which also it never is. To also be fair, I don't care about that.
Fair.
But anyway, yeah. So basically, recording his conversation about the heart itself and the strength and the blessings of strength that it gives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's explaining like basically what Cairn of Strength does and what Boar as a patron does, and those effects combine.
Is there any way that we are expected to conduct ourselves while we are here so that we do not offend Boar?
Well, if you're worried about Boar, just don't kill boars. It's not privy about how we go about Seth life. You would have to do something really spiritually egregious to offend the Sept's patron. Not only killing his children, but for any reason disrespecting the cairn, I suppose. I mean, littering around the cairn, breaking the standing stone. Though to be fair, if you did any harm to the standing stone, I think the Get would behead you before Boar could be properly angry at you.
She nods. Definitely.
Yeah, mind if I have Jakob interject a bit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jakob just like perks up and says, I have a question.
Yeah?
We killed a boar.
That was in your Rite of Passage, was it?
And Rota's also going to interject. That's not a question.
Hugin sighs. I know what the question is. It's fine. That was before you were committed to Boar.
Jakob just kind of shrugs and says, I mean, okay, but anyway, we can still just like tell Boar, hey, sorry about that. I mean, if he's that sensible with his kids and all.
He stops, muses. He looks genuinely surprised and he shoots a glance over at Alex. You're teaching them well. He looks back at Jakob. That is The right attitude. Let me think, Chiminage, what would Boar like? Basically, whenever you want to appease a spirit for whatever reason, all you have to do is offer them things. Usually, each spirit is different. I suppose Boar is going to be fine with offerings of food. Plenty of vegetables, fruit. Anything, really. Boar's not picky. And some of your
May I make a roll,
gnosis...
please?
Yep. Or?
I would like to see if I can recall the conversation between the wolf and the boar on the bridge. And I want to remember what it was that the boar wanted.
You don't need to roll for that.
Okay.
That was... Honestly, you don't think for sure that this is related. That whole thing was very...
Oh yeah, I don't see them as
Non-literal.
related. I'm just recalling, like, okay, what made this boar happy? Maybe it'll make this boar happy too.
That was just a conflict of, like, the boar ate food and he was complaining that Wolf was being lazy and taking all over the place, and Wolf was
Right,
mad
okay.
because still full. Like, it was very allegorical. This is...
Okay.
But food seems to be a common item.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
So,
basically
Rontos-
says, leave offerings, and with your intention to Chipnage, you can call upon Boar, the Heart of the Septon. Leave your offerings, share some of your gnosis with him, and he'll likely appreciate the intention alone. He might not be mad, but he will definitely acknowledge your effort to be in good terms. Not a bad idea there.
Rontos
Jakob
says,
kind of like. Oh, go ahead.
can you show us where the heart is?
You can see from where you're all standing. It's the massive standing stone.
Got it. Okay.
It's at the very center of the cairn.
Okay.
And you can see that there are a few flowers and bowls of offering surrounding it.
Cool. Okay. Sorry for interrupting you, Viri.
It wasn't very, I don't think.
Oh,
Nope.
sorry.
I think it was me. But no, I was just gonna like gesture that Jakob was like rubbing his beard.
Okay.
He's rubbing his brain
Fair.
cells together, alright?
Fair. Absolutely fair.
Having been called out as well, Alexander does make a point of stepping forward and asking Hugin, so I understand that you're the oh god, I'm gonna look like an idiot out of character. It's Crescent Moon for the
Crescent moon,
correct?
crescent moon.
I understand you're the Crescent Moon for this pack. Are there any things that I should be looking out for duty-wise and, trying to make sure that everybody's on good terms?
Well, thanks. I often help the Keeper of the Land with the landscaping and all of those things, knowing what the spirit's like, to help make the sept more appealing to them. I've, as of late, also been usually busy helping the warden appease spirits around the battle. Wildlings can sometimes get a bit unpredictable, and he is quite a brilliant man, but he is not a shaman. So sometimes I'll help figure out shamanage to, well, stop problems.
That is always a tricky thing, huh? Are there any I guess, ill tidings or curious prophecies that have come up recently?
Aren't there always? Well, lately... I don't think lately. Don't know about any new prophecies. Still waiting on that Phoenix one.
The Phoenix one?
He raises an eyebrow, but this time it looks like a motion of you asked an autistic about their special interest.
Oh, I see.
You
Well,
are not
Alexander
familiar
loves doing
with the
anything.
prophecy of the Phoenix?
No, I'm not familiar with a lot of things.
Well, if you wouldn't mind.
No, not at all.
Well, it does, like, immediately, like, rapidly flipping through pages on one of her books, trying to find it.
Prophecy of the Phoenix is one of our oldest ones, I think. Well, it's been long enough.
It's from the Red Talons.
Yes. One of their prophets foresaw. Was it Red Talons or was it the Science Riders? Does the Science Riders have a prophecy? I was just rereading their book.
They do. Red Talons are kind of the prophecy tribe. Like, they're the ones that have the prophecy of Gaia right. I'm fairly certain that it was them.
I mean, it could be mistaken. I remember there was a prophecy section, but I don't remember if it was the Phoenix. I just assumed it was, because I don't remember. Honestly, not relevant to this scene either way.
Right, yeah.
He recites it. Phoenix took me, carried me in his claws, high above the world, so that I could see beyond tomorrow. I will copy and paste this on Discord so everyone can check that.
Thank you.
So that I could see beyond tomorrow. And I looked. I beheld the future. I saw the decimation of our kin, hunted beyond hunting, death beyond death. Alas, there were no more children or grandchildren, or fathers or mothers. This was the first sign Phoenix gave to me. For the children of the Weaver, the humans, to give to us, the Garou. I looked. You're doing keyboard noises. I saw the children of the Weaver birthing, a great tide of humans rising. I saw more and more into Gaia and having to carry them all, their houses overrun, their rakes raping, their hands clawing at parched earth, trying to feed from her. This was the second sign of the last days. The Phoenix showed me. What? There was a weird buzzing noise coming from somewhere. I was absolutely startled. Don't know what that was. Anyway.
Understandable.
Being haunted again. God damn it. Listen, I've kicked spirits out of my house, but that's a
The Weaver
topic for a
heard you
different time.
talking shit.
I mean, considering it sounded like a mechanical noise, it could be. Again, the Weaver wanting to participate. Anyway. Where was I? That took me out, sorry. Yeah, and
I
the
looked
strange
again, I
fire
think I'll
I
look
saw.
Wasn't it like I looked again?
Yeah, I
beheld
looked
the third
again,
sign or
I
something?
beheld the third sign. So many children, so many humans. They fell against each other, one to one, and the worm brought forth corruption in each a measure, and the strange fire I saw out of control, a great plume rising over the wilderness, spreading death wherever it shone, in the dark, cold land. And I heard the agony of the seas as she killed, where some drunken fool had poured a lake of black death out. I turned my head away at this gust, but I could not help but look again. I beheld the full sign. The worm grew powerful. Its wings fanged the breezes of decay. It spread its diseases. They were horrible. The herd became afflicted with diseases of the head and the blood. Children were born twisted. Animals fell sick. No one could cure them. In these final days, even the warriors of Gaia did not escape. Palsied talons of the sickness-bringing death. A tear in my eye, and as he recites this, you see that the more he speaks, is as if Hugin is losing, like his eyes become distant. Tears stream down his eyes. I looked again. The phoenix showed me the fifth sign. I saw other plumes rising like death spears towards the beautiful sky, piercing it, letting Father Sun burn and parch God. Air grew hot. Even in the darkness of winter it was warm. The plants withered in the sun. A cry of pain and disease arose from dying forests, as one of the relations cried tears of blood. Then, as though a veil were torn, the sixth sign showed itself to me. And in these last days, Gaia shakes in rage. Fire boils from the depths. Ash shrouds the sky. The worm skulks in the shadows made by these and rares to strike. Old ones are gone. Guardians of the pathways and the crossroads are finished. In these final days, the sixth sign will make itself known in the pacts that form. Each pact will have unto itself a quest, a sacred journey must perform. Such is the will of Gaia. And I saw the sky turn black, and the moon was as blood, and the seventh sign I glimpsed, though I could not look on it in full, but its heat I could feel. The apocalypse, the final days of the world. The moon was swallowed by the sun, and it burned in its belly. Unholy fires fell to the ground, burning us all, twisting us, and making us vomit blood. The worm had made itself manifest in the towers, and the rivers, and the air, and the land, and everywhere its children ran rampant, devouring, destroying, calling down curses of every kind. The herd ran in fear. The darkness, children of the world, crawled from their caves and walked the streets in daylight. I turned my head from the side. Phoenix told me, "This is as it shall be, not as it should." Phoenix left me then. Now I cannot dream. I can only remember the signs, each one perfect detail. These are the last days. Prophecy of the apocalypse. Some say it is approaching. Some of the signs have come to pass. He seems out of it. He has to sit down for a moment. It's as if he saw all the things he said. And being Tierge, he does probably have some measure of seer capacities. Let's put into those terms.
I mean, I don't know how much he was like reciting or relating, but the bit with "I can't dream, I can only remember the signs." That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, I think that when he sort of comes down from this like visionary high, Alexander sort of like gets in close and offers, mass for support for him to recover off of. How do the rest of his pack look as he's doing this?
Wolfram is already by his side, nudging him and comforting him. Julie and Karina just look down and they seem like it's a difficult topic.
Understandable. I think that the first words that come out of Alexander's mouth after he's sort of caught his breath is, "Thank you for sharing this with us, and thank you for sharing the burden as well of knowing what's to come."
However, some say there's an 8th sign to come. There's still hope. There's still a chance of turning the tides, even if the age of apocalypse comes to us.
Alexander nods and adds, "Hope, I think, is one of the things the Get doesn't realize it has in spades. Hope is the stubbornness of survival and the
Cat is me.
unending drive to make things better. And if that doesn't sum up the Get, then I don't know what does."
Well, different seers have discussed different interpretations. And some believe that if we stand in unity, we can push back when the worm comes. Sadly, much of it has come true. The Great Wars, oil spills. Scientists have been talking about. He looks over Karina. Global warming, yeah. Scientists are very concerned about how things are going right now. I don't think anyone's listening. Yeah, that. And other things that have happened around this globe. Fights against great umbral dangers, the Weavers calcifying cities. So I've heard. One day, child,
Alexander's... Oh,
we
go ahead.
can stand and fight. It's why we were born, it's why we were chosen, it's why we are here. Those black tides will come in flooding, but we will stand. We might not be able to stop the apocalypse. We can sure as hell rise from it.
Alexander nods and adds, "I was speaking with grandmother earlier, and she was questioning why now, of all times, for the Gural to return. And I worry now that perhaps these signs that you've said have been seen are early warnings of what's to be expected of us."
I have pondered.
But I also
that.
think that you're right. The return of the Guru is a return of hope. A return that things will likely not be good, but they won't be as bad as they would be without us.
If your coming truly is a sign to Gaia made the effort to bring forth her healers, I would like to imagine it means the wound can at the very least be treated.
Well, if that's the case, then there's a lot of work to be done. Now, you said a word that I don't fully know yet. What is a globe?
Oh my god. How he looks at you and his eyes are darting around like he doesn't know how to. He is confused. Sorry, you're confused about what? What word?
You said a globe? I'm not sure what that means.
It's like a ball.
Why
You know what a
why
ball
was
is?
he using I know what a ball is. What does a ball have to do with Gaia?
The world we're on is like a big ball.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's like hills. And
Well, it's not a proof ball.
it's not I don't know what that is either.
What, smooth?
Balls are like the things that seeds are in that fall out of trees.
Oh, that's a fruit.
Yeah. Like berries.
Hugan
kind of
just whispers to himself, "Oh no. Oh no.
Gaia, give me the strength.
Gaia, give me the strength." He scratches his neck, looks at Julian. We might have to take him to the library. His eyes widen. He pivots towards Rotha. Have you been to the library?
She like immediately perks up and says, "You have a library?"
Kempten has a library.
Like, said, I have never actually been to a library before.
Oh, we have to take you to the library. You're gonna love it there. They have a lot of things.
Oh goodness.
Jakob's just gonna
she's
like look down.
Literally
to,
just forgot the entire conversation standing there, like how soon can we go?
Fuck the end of the world. The worm can wait. You have books? I'm in. You
hit her special interest.
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
Yeah.
Wolfram just kind of tilts his head, lowers his ears a little bit. I am still struggling with those human words. They're too complicated.
They're so strange.
Why? He looks at you like in the sense
Yeah.
only you can understand. It's so much.
Yeah.
I want to learn
They
what
have
the
such
books
big
say, but
ideas.
I don't like words. But I have to learn. I have.
Large ideas that make no sense.
I mean, you know, there's books for words, right?
Those are just full of words.
mean-
Jillian sighs. Yeah, we've been trying to.
I only
Educate.
discovered that books were a thing when I met Rotha.
We've been teaching Wolfram how to read and write. This is a Galliard, and he really wants that.
Well, that seems like a reasonable thing.
Oh, I wanted to ask that anyway. I'm pretty sorry. Is there like a book I could have for like, because Rafa showed us like these glyphs and stuff. But I like forgot half of them again. Is there like a book where they're in?
They all exchange a look. Garou or we're an oral tradition most of the times, but I can note them down for you if you would like.
Thank you very. I'm not gonna make a comment about being an oral tradition when I'm specifically asking you for the signs you use to write, but sure.
We don't use them all the time for everything. They're more
Rota
practical.
interjects.
They're like trailblazing.
Rota interjects and says, "The glyphs are more than just words. They're imbued with spirit." She says, she holds up her hands and she says, "We are part spirit, inherently. And everything that we touch, we leave a little tiny bit of ourselves. When we use our claw, we paint them. And the marks of the spirits remain within them. When you read a glyph, you're not just comprehending the shapes and the forms, but the spiritual information that is imbued with purpose within every strike of our claws, marked by Gaia."
Yeah, but our writing is complicated, sure.
Huguenot, still a dictionary, a codex of sorts never hurts. We struggle learning the Hamid's language, and honestly, they do struggle with glyphs a lot of times. It can be a lot. But I think I can make it a bit more handy for you. Take some
She
time
says,
tonight to scribble them down. Always good to have something to do around bedtime.
She says to, that was Jakob that said that, right?
What?
No, Joyston.
That was Torsten? Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the chat list. Okay, so she'll turn to Torsten and she says, "I'd be happy to give you regular lessons."
I mean, that would be nice. Thank you.
She nods.
And with all of that said, before we move on with this, I think this is the best moment for us to have our little break.
Just gonna ask for one.
Yeah, no, I was gonna do it right after the prophecy, but that just went on, and I was just waiting to close on this exactly to call the break. Yeah, so
Sweet.
we're gonna take 10, and we will be right back.
All right.
See you all in a
Toodaloo.
bit. We are back. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, he actually went back to
Hi.
the previous song. Look at that. This works better than I was
Hey.
complaining about.
Hoggers.
Very smart module. I like that. I like that. If only I had realized that earlier. Anyway, before I move this scene along, is there any last topics anyone wants to touch on with these four? Any questions, anything in particular?
Not at the moment. I think I'm good.
No, I can be a camp later if things don't resolve.
Nothing comes to mind for me right now.
Alright then. So, as you're all talking, a figure approaches.
Ooh.
Forgot his name was. He is quite tall, quite slender. Has a darker brown hair. Quite long too, in length. Well, medium to long. And do I give out this detail? Nah, not yet.
You want us to make an observation roll for him?
I mean, if you want to.
Sure.
That would have to be. I'm gonna get funny. I'll say it can be either alertness or empathy plus wits.
Difficulty?
6. Standard difficulty. It's not. It's
This
very
is-
I can
silly.
do alertness.
This is using eyesight, so
Yeah.
I am doing this at a -2.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
but this is literally observing, so I feel like observant.
It is observing, but it's a little bit more than just that. It's making a connection from what you're observing.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, you have 3 and yet.
Bruh. Alright. Works for me.
I'm just
Yep.
amused. I
Yeah,
got
whoever it is
69.
we're trying to read, we're reading them like a book.
No,
See
you're
that
not
one of the fingers is slightly
reading.
shorter than the rest of them.
You just think his eyes look very similar to the blacksmith's.
Okay.
Oh.
Is it the dad to the mom?
You don't know. I mean, he doesn't look to be
No.
old enough to be her father. But then again, he is a werewolf, so that's also not a guarantee. But they
Oh.
seem to be about the same age.
Interesting.
Because you did hear someone mention that apparently werewolves age slower, or rather start showing signs of age much later.
Yeah, they age on a what's the exponential curve where it slows down instead of speeds up? I can't remember.
Exponential.
Something like that.
Regardless, he dressed in just everyday clothes. He has a quite long and warm fur cloak around him. Clears his throat as he approaches, and you see the Mist Seekers all perk up towards him, nod their heads. And Julian, likely wanting to be helpful, acknowledges the man by saying, "Master of Challenge." He nods and looks towards you guys. "Yes. Good evening. Sorry for intruding on your conversation, but..." He pulls up a clipboard, flips through a few pages, checking some things. "I just wanted to make proper introductions to the new pack and also clarify everyone on SEP duties. We are running a pretty tight operation, it seems." He sounds exhausted. Seems like he could use a coffee or 30. I was just gonna say, if the new pack wants to kickstart the Sept life by helping around with a few chores, there's much that can be helped around in the Sept. Especially today. Of course, you can aid any of the other packs in their own respective duties, if you were to prefer. But I had an assignment in mind that might be a gentle start. Unless you want to aid your new friends. Their own little problem. He raises an eyebrow at them. Oh, right, the investigation thing. Yeah. Julia mutters.
Investigation?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Oh, okay, go.
Oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
You can say first.
I mean, I guess Jakob would just ask anything we need to know.
Right, how do I explain this? We're investigating something a little suspicious that's going on around Kempten that may or may not be of werewolf concern. A chain of pharmacies that caught our attention. He looks over at the Master of Challenge, who sighs. Well, what I had to offer you is quite essentially a fetch quest. Just thought you would like to talk to the person you were going fetching for, but you can aid the other pack so long that you keep yourselves busy and pull your own weight around here. We desperately need to get things a little bit more under control. Julia nods and clarifies. Basically, we're investigating a case of bad medicine, I guess. We can put into those terms. There'd be a little conspiracy going around. You guys can help with that if you want. We don't know how exciting is it going to be.
Alexander looks kind of confused. Like, how could medicine be bad?
That is a great question. What was it, Karina? She scowls. She just has a scowl on her face. She looks disgusted. When you put Banes inside it. Oh, so they say. Evil spirits. Spirits of the worm. They are creatures of pure corruption that exist to corrupt. And they drive humans not only insane, sometimes they can possess them and turn them into monstrosities. And at that point, we can't save them.
Alex doesn't usually like it's very, very difficult to get Alex to show any kind of emotion outside of either general elation or, empathetic concern. He is also scowling now, though. This is leaving a bitter taste in his mouth.
To be fair, we don't know for sure if that's even happening. We just saw some concerning signs, and we're gonna try and poke around to see what exactly they're selling, who they're connected to. Just sudden new pharmacy chain showing up in Kempten all of a sudden is... Yeah, it's weird. Could be concerning. It could be absolutely nothing and we're just paranoid.
And what would that, like, what did he say fetch quest be about? Would be something from town?
A bit ways away in a nearby village. Nearby from Kempten. There's an old Tierge there. She's, retired, he made air quotations. She's old. Probably older than Grand Elder, I believe. Or just about, but she's in a much more frail condition. But she guards something for the Sept. Powerful talisman she made in her time. It's... Well, I don't know how much I can say about it. To be fair, I don't entirely know much myself, but apparently it's connected to the forest. A fail-safe, if you will.
Can I have Jakob perk up? Because I think that's something he could manage. Like, he's just gonna ask, how do you get to that village?
He explains the routes, the more common routes.
Alright. Jakob's like, I mean, he is used to driving. Like, these are probably routes he would have not necessarily traveled before, but maybe heard of. Like, can I try to get an approximation of what the best way there would be?
You'd be able to do that, yeah.
Okay. You said that, like, the wait there is, like, a couple of hours?
Yeah.
Okay. Jakob just kind of, like, shrugs and says, I mean, once my truck's done, we can just, like, go there and back pretty easily.
Well, nothing's stopping you from taking both tasks. Usually cubs don't enjoy having a bunch of tasks thrown at them all at once. First day in the sept, but I'm glad you're taking to the gateway of life. I hope that attitude remains for the duration. And I suppose if there is something of concern behind those pharmacies, having 2 packs assigned to it might not be the worst idea, if push comes to shove. Is that something you're all in agreement with?
I don't want to see
Yeah, roll the
anybody that's
nuts.
in a vulnerable condition be exploited like that. So yeah, I'm in.
Hell yeah. Julian then takes over. Glad to have you on board. I honestly don't know what to expect from it. It's nice to have some extra pairs of brains for this. With that, the master of challenge just nods, looks towards your pack. Hopefully we'll have more opportunities to actually talk and get acquainted, but in your interest, I am the Sept's Master of Challenge, and well, I guess you could see me technically as a lawman, so if you have any problems or disputes to settle, you come and talk to me. Now, if
Disputes with Hume.
he shrugs, hopefully no one. Sometimes fights break out. Sometimes packs don't agree on how to do things. Or how things are. And they butt heads sometimes. Quite literally. My job is to make sure disputes are settled, that when you're ready to advance in your station as Garou, you receive the proper challenge to be tested. And punishments for undue things. I do a lot of things around here. He's in keeping this place organized in a sense. There's usually a master of challenge, and some places also have a truth catcher, judge and jury. That's also me here. So, anything political, I guess you could say, I'm here to mediate and resolve, and if you have problems of that kind, I will be here to help with anything that's needed. If you excuse me. And if no one says anything else, he does move away.
Okay.
Yeah, Jakob's just gonna say, yeah, sure, have a good one.
Before we end this scene, I'd like to take Hugin aside and ask them a question.
Sure thing.
So she walks towards him and says, "Do you mind if I ask you a question in private?"
Sure.
And she lowers her voice a little bit and she says, "For those like us, who should I be avoiding here?"
I guess the Garou and Ravenous Strike, that pack we were mentioning earlier, have the nastier attitude. They don't go too far as seeing others go, but the Sept is fair to our kind. So long we do our work, we provide to the community and stand together with the community and respect, protect, and nourish it, we stand as equals. If we can hold our own weight, then we're worthy. The Get are practical like that, but some of them are more prideful and arrogant than others, and Killian is an asshole, as Julian put it. He's an absolute asshole. Everyone else is mostly fine, neutral at worst. There's quite a few of us here.
She nods and mouths back, "Julian. Thank you."
He nods.
She rejoins her pack.
And with that, I think we can do a little skip here.
Ooh.
Okay.
On your way back, it does start raining. It's a long trek back to Kempten. But you eventually make it. Streets of cobbstones, or the townhouses. Hardly any buildings taller than 3 stories.
If you could assign a color temperature to this town, what would it be? Would it be warm or cold?
Oh, it's... See, that's a great question. I'm so glad you actually asked this. Because it's very much fall. It is warm with all of those vibrant reds and browns. But on that very cold, very lightless, rainy day, where everything is kind of muted.
Yeah. And these are old buildings?
Oh, they're pretty old, yeah.
Okay. Are they constructed with the same stonework?
Pretty much, yeah. They're very much all following the same pattern.
Is it like a Tudor style or? Sorry, I got to be autistic for a moment. I'm like filling my mind's eye with a picture of this.
You're on point, actually. Yeah, you're on point. Tudor. I actually have a folder. I think, is it private? Or is it here? It is Tudor. I think you can still access it with the link. I have collection of photos to that serve as kind of a mood board for the city. So this here will give you a good vibe. It's very old, but there's like already touches of modernization, and it's not gentrification yet. But it's getting there. You're getting like a few more modern buildings. A lot of cobblestone, especially at the city center, has been exchanged for concrete. It's slowly starting to expand. It is a pretty small city right now, and it's surrounded by farm areas.
Okay.
But it's growing.
What does the air smell like?
Oh, petrichor. Strong petrichor. Dead leaves.
Okay.
Wet
It smells
stone.
like sad Hobbiton.
Smoke?
Smoke?
Is there smoke?
Mainly cigarette smoke.
Like wood fire? Okay.
I guess there would be some wood fire. There are definitely a lot of chimneys. Probably smoke from like smoked hams and any stores that like do that.
How busy are the streets?
Right now, very little. It would be, by the time you make it back, it would be the middle of the afternoon. And it's raining, so it's mainly people that are already out. Some are rushing to get inside buildings, to go back home. It's mostly people just going about their business, like going to shops and making it back home. It's a very uneventful day.
Are there many vehicles?
For a city this size, considerably.
Okay. Rota is spellbound. Literally eyes as big as saucers, taking absolutely everything in. And she keeps stopping every few feet to stare at different pieces of architecture and like the plants and the people. And she's very like conspicuous about like stopping and staring at everything.
Oh
like,
yeah,
almost childlike.
Both you and Alexander don't forget to change your shapes to Hamid.
Oh, you're so right.
And speaking of
Yeah,
which,
that would have happened at some point on the way over.
Oh, you had time. But speaking of which, that's a great opportunity to say Wolf ran in Hamid form, which you hadn't seen until now. Very pale, very bright skin. Those big hazel eyes. And his hair is a curly mess. Big head full of curly hair. He uses, I wouldn't say baggy, but he's wearing a sweater. The vest now expanded to be a normal human-sized vest. Cute. But the sweater underneath is pretty baggy. It's ever social pants, loafers. His dressing, he's mixing with the style. He's trying to dress as bland as possible. To not bring attention to himself. It's very posh.
Alexander, I would say, is equally transfixed by certain things, but is more put off by other things. So, like things like car exhaust, or any sort of like loud noises coming from shops, that sort of thing. Things
She'd
that
be
just
startling
feel
pretty
like
easily.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
exactly.
There aren't many vehicles running, fortunately. You're still in the edges of the town, so like most of the traffic it's towards the center right now. You're still entering the city, so there's a lot less going on, and it's mostly residential with a few shops. But every time like someone enters a shop and the bell rings, it's definitely a startle.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't
if
know
there's
if
any bakeries
that
they pass by, he is like
absolutely
glued to the windows.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've had Rota in Hamid form yet.
You posted Ginger Snaps GIF last time.
Yeah.
when you described the hum, which I loved, and it was even more hilarious. I didn't comment in the last time because it was the middle of the session, which it still is now, but now I'm gonna say it. It was so funny that you posted that and you guys were talking about that on the text channel while my Discord status is what it is, and I had put it that precise day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun.
So it was
Okay,
just
cool.
very funny. But besides Wolfren, Hugin is also in his human form,
Ooh.
which is a little bit more interesting because of the extra challenges that he poses. Rotha, you're in a very very twisted sense very lucky. Your warp, your manifestation of the wild is something less tangible. It's not visible. It's not physical
Well,
in that way. You don't have
she does have her scars.
I mean, yeah, but
A
She
usual
doesn't
human
have
can have
3 extra
stars.
eyes.
Yeah, a usual human doesn't have 3 extra eyes.
yeah, the point
But
is
yeah,
that is not
A
like
Hamid
a
and with a bunch of
breach.
eyes does attract a lot more attention.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's yours is not physical in the sense it's not veil breaching. You wouldn't sunder the veil. And Hugin, he's dressed pretty much as you would expect, kinda basically just grunge oversized coat. His hair is a bit long. And he actually has wrapped a bandage around his left eye. Yeah, it was his eyes were on the left side. Yeah. While it does cover his normal eye as an excuse that he's wearing a bandage because it's hurt, it conveniently wraps around in a way that hides the 3 extra eyes. And he usually has his hood up and a big scarf to help cover his face a little bit more.
Just because
He
this is
dresses
finally-
emo because it's practical. That's so sad.
I mean, he is a
should get
Shadow
the emo
Lord.
bangs. He should get the emo bangs for the eyes.
He's surprised, like, he doesn't have specifically the emo bangs, but his hair is a bit longer. He does use it to cover it a little bit. But he doesn't trust in covering that with hair alone. If a wind
I
blows...
suspect that.
Understandable.
I suspect he's a Lazarite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Julian turns to the back. For starters, there's someone we need to talk to. She's gonna help us figure this out. Because it's a bunch of complicated things that I don't quite get. But she'll help us. She's gonna be helping us with this whole investigation thing. He looks towards Thorsten Jakob. You might have seen her already. She's usually at that inn of ours in the middle of town.
Oh, probably. Who is it?
That's Francisca. Francisca, what was her DNA? Eyes Across the Web. Francisca Eyes Across the Web. She's one of the 2 glasswalkers in town. Well, the other's out of town, but she's a glasswalker.
Not entirely sure what that means.
I said
Nice.
Francisca. That's the blacksmith lady. The
I was wondering,
glasswalker
I was
is Gita. Sorry, Gita.
Gita, that sounds nice.
Gita Eyes Across the Web. They're basically the tech guys. I hear they do computer stuff. Their tribe is all about that. I think she does some crazy stuff with her gifts and spirits. Kind of impressive. Not a
Alexander
lot
is
of that
pulling
in Kempten.
Happy sleeve again. What's a computer?
It's like a machine that's a collection of books.
Boring then. Okay.
Oh my god.
You know
Rota
what?
looks like Rota has like a completely like pearl clutching look. That
You just committed a hate crime.
He can't read, and he probably will never learn to read because he can barely see.
That is
Books are
absolutely-
boring to him. I'm sorry.
To be fair, trying to teach Alexander to use a computer would be insufferable until the moment you manage to get a cat gift to show up.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And then it would be the best thing he ever saw in his life. He loves
Or-
computers.
Or if you teach him how to order food from a computer.
Well, it's 1986, so I don't think you'll be learning that.
That's fair.
That is also just something I wanted to mention when you first said it. Thorsten still thinks he has to actively get rid of his money because of Raven. So he would absolutely buy Alexander whatever the fuck he wants from the bakery because he still has some money in his pockets.
Honestly, amazing.
So Alexander will be fed with whatever fucking sweets he wants.
So many different berry sweets. So
No,
many
you
different,
Alexander has to fuck. What was its name?
Alexander has to fuck.
Alexander
No, he
has to
doesn't.
fuck.
That's
Alexander has
not
to
up,
fuck.
not for me to
Part of
decide.
sweet boy like that.
That's not for me to decide. No, I just wanna remember. Oh
God.
yeah, do you know the Carl Weezer meme from Jimmy Neutron?
Oh, the croissant.
Yeah, like Alexander has to ask for a croissant like that. Like, I want a croissant. A croissant.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Just whatever has a whole bunch of honey and nuts and berries on it.
They have those. A lot of this is very like fresh produce. Like I said, the town is surrounded by like a lot of farms.
Yeah.
It's a pretty self-sustainable town in a sense.
Perfect. He is elated, and he is walking right next to Torsten in gratitude.
Yes.
And so, they lead you to the Werewolf Inn, which I was going to have named for this session, and then I got distracted by something else, and I forgot.
Again?
I'm always doing something that's more origin, and I just forget it. I actually had a name, but it slipped me. I was brainstorming one a few weeks back, and I lost it.
We didn't throw that
Jerry.
It's gonna have something to do with red still, but that's besides the point.
in. Oh.
Rat something rat. I don't know. I'm brainstorming. It's getting there.
It's the rat's nest.
Sure, it's the rat's nest.
Perfect.
The Ratty Tusker.
Wow.
Rat
The
is
Rat King.
The Rat King.
The Rat King. Honestly,
The Rat
great
King.
name. That's
And
a
the
name.
symbol
Or
would be
it
and
would
the symbol would be a cluster of rats with their tails entangled together.
no, on. Oh god, yes.
I would
But also
get
just
so
a rat
fucking
with
lit
a
at the
cooking
Rat King,
hat.
Holy shit.
No, it's Rat King now.
Yes.
That's absolutely something Moritz would fucking name the bar.
Oh, 100%. I need to become bartender here so I can be the big rat that serves all the drinks.
If you become bartender, that place is going to become way too popular.
Only werewolves can get here. Only
True.
werewolves can get here.
Which actually might be even better since the Sept is understaffed. We're gonna bring new werewolves to the Sept.
Ah yes, the place where there's only two genders, werewolf and gay.
You said that as if there's a distinction. I don't understand.
Excuse you, I can be bi-gender.
You can be bi-gay.
I can be bi-gay, yeah!
This is the first time that I'm gonna in detail describe this place. I just realized. Finally, we're stepping in here. Basically, to reach that, it's more towards the center of the city. And there is a lot of alleyways in this place. It's very circular in shape, the town itself. Lots and lots and lots of alleyways giving access to many different streets and sidewalks. And you've been taught a specific path to follow through these alleyways. And as if you don't need to spend gnosis, but tapping into it, feeling around with it, eventually you come to this alleyway where a doorway appears to you. And only to you. You see a lot of people pass by and just not acknowledge it.
Huh.
Whatever they did, it seems like they found a way to contain it from normal humans, hide it from their view. And only supernatural beings can find it. And the kinfolk. And within the tavern/inn, it's a building that's squeezed right in the middle of others. Like, it's the alleyway's wall, and inside a lot of like that stone, like from the ground up. But a cobblestone in the walls, hardwood everywhere, pillars, tables and chairs, all probably very produced locally. This is probably all like artisan, proper woodwork, not just some industrialized thing they bought en masse.
So, before entering, what her packmates will notice is that even though it is like a public place and everybody's in there, before she walks in, she's going to very gently knock twice on the door.
Julian, who's at the door, just looks at you, doesn't say anything, looks happy, and just opens the door unless someone interjects with something else. Then
Negative.
you see the big diner, big dining area, with the massive bar all the way back. Some young
What are the
guy
walls
looking, all covered in cobblestone. They're very, like, it's decorative, like.
Okay.
And a lot of hardwood as well, like I said. Like railings and pillars and all of that, and supports for the ceiling.
Yeah.
There is a second floor. On the far left, there is a staircase that leads to the second floor, where is the rooms of the inn. You assume that behind the bar, all the way towards the back, there is a kitchen that you cannot see. And there's plenty tables in this place. About like 10 of them. I have plenty of chairs. It can hold a lot of people in here. But right now it's pretty empty. There's a few people around. Probably about 5. Out drinking silently, some in pairs talking. There's a very young lad at the bar. Looking bored out of his mind. Looks like he's already half asleep. And on the bar counter, there's that raggedy old man that Torsten knows well. Wearing a bunch of baggy, ragged clothes, the long white hair. It's all frizzled up and unkempt.
Yeah, Torsten is probably just gonna, like, you know, this is one of the more comfortable places for him. Just fucking strut in here like it's his place, kinda.
I have a German cultural question.
Yeah?
Out of character. So, bar culture. Is it a bar where you go up to the bar to place your order, or do you go to a table and somebody comes and takes your order?
You go to the bar.
Okay. So, Lorota's going to go up to the bar then. And she's going to look at the bartender, place her hands like neatly in front of her, and she's going to say, "May I please have a glass of milk?"
He stares, he blinks, it takes him a second to spring up to life, and Moritz starts snapping his fingers. Oi, oi! Come alive, lad! Don't sleep on the job now, don't let people waiting, your mom's gonna have your arse for this. Go on, glass of milk, chop chop. And he just starts like, right, yeah. And he runs off to the back to check a fridge for milk, because they definitely don't have it on the bar, it's probably in the kitchen.
Okay.
Kid's too new to this, didn't want to go to college, so his mom's making work extra over here. Gonna go into a fine lad. And look who's here. Best little ratty of all Kempten. He turns towards Torsten.
Aye.
About time you properly introduced me to your packmates. Hello.
Oh. Yes. This is the squad. These are the people. There's Rofa, there's Jakob, there's Alex, there's Klaus.
It smells like spoiled berries in here.
It's probably a few. Need to change the wood. He looks up, scowls a little bit. Lots of work. Could do with more investments in this place, but tough times.
I thought he was talking about wine.
Oh,
That was what he was getting at, but
you got a good
that's
point
not
there.
surprising.
So, when the bartender comes back from the kitchen, she's going to be still there, and she's going to say, "I wasn't done ordering."
Oh,
He sighs in defeat. Morph just laughs and wheezes.
Do you have Kasserspatzel?
Sighs, he thinks over. I don't know. I have to check the kitchen.
Okay.
And he leaves and Moritz looks at you. It's not very bright.
Kasserspatzel, that's a spatzel with Gruyere and caramelized onions.
yeah.
That's the good shit. Anyways.
Yeah, you should sit down. That's gonna take a while. He's mended the kitchen today. Oof. Might take a few tries.
Oh, I don't know if that's very interesting, but that Rofa is, does the same thing as you. Tells too many stories. Ha.
Oh, ha. So you're the Galliard. Well, it's always a pleasure. He offers a hand for you to shake. Always good to see fellow Gibberspoons. Hope you teach lots of my boy here.
She examines the hand. And
Long unkempt nails.
long unkempt nails? Okay. She'll shake it.
Shakes it firmly.
And she says, this pack does not know a lot about Garou culture, and I am doing my best to teach them.
Well, there are no Krynos born.
Teaching.
Takes a while.
I'm going to be teaching Torsten here how to engage in glyphery.
Oh, that I would love to see.
Yeah, you kind of tried and gave up.
Wow.
It's a lot. It was a lot in the beginning, especially.
Well,
was
to be
getting
fair, I'm too full of shit. That thing is even more full of shit, so it gets confusing.
We are actually here for something. Like,
Oh,
not
I
just
can
hang
see
out.
you're with these troublemakers. I bet you're here for Gita then. Just troublemakers.
Those are stories I actually wanna hear later.
Yeah, you hear a lot, and you be sure to tell me. But I'm not gonna hold you up. If anyone else wants to order, you can just place it. I'll bring it down to you.
Oh.
Jakob's just gonna be like, do you have any black coffee?
Yep. Might be spiritually awakened. Well, I want to take a very small shot of it. I remember if we did that with the last batch. Well, full of
Jakob's just gonna,
surprises.
he's just gonna like rub his head and be like, I can take my chances.
Well, good luck not sleeping.
Thorsten is gonna like lean down to Rodolpha as well as he can, and does his best approximation of a whisper, like, "I know we're here on a job. Is it okay to drink on the job as a werewolf?"
She says, you may attempt to drink as a werewolf, but your regeneration will be working against you.
He
So
looks like
that's why my tolerance has been so fucked up lately.
he looks like
Well.
shocked at fucking what's this like. Will I get
Well,
worse at getting drunk?
a little bit, but you can still get it. I mean, we make the finest booze around, because we know our kind. Packs a punch, but if you're lucky, you're in your breed form, so the regeneration doesn't really kick that much. If you change forms, though, you sober up. Kind of great if you think about it.
That is awesome.
Don't
Still have a
abuse it.
beer.
It's gonna lead to some regrets and some loose bowels.
Okay. So that doesn't change from being a human. Good to know.
Yeah, couldn't get
I'll
that
set up
many
a beer.
privileges.
It doesn't seem like a lot of privileges. It seems very weird. It is, like, first of all of this, and then also the fact that this is apparently, like, world-ending stuff now.
Don't you worry about that. That's not gonna come for another, 30 years? Maybe
Oh, that's
50
great.
if we're lucky. It's not gonna end tomorrow.
Famous last words.
Considering our meta, yeah, famous last fucking words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his prediction's not entirely wrong, though.
You're gonna, would have been nice to know more about that going into this, Moritz.
Well,
Scary shit.
I didn't feel the need to preach it like a doomsday goat. You know that the world is dying because people are killing this world, polluting it, doing shit, gentrifying every town and every village. Gaia is dying and you can feel it. We can focus on trying to save her instead of worrying that the skies are just gonna rain fire. I don't think it's that literal either, but it could be. Seen that happen.
At this fucking point.
To be fair, it could also be worse. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I wouldn't say we've seen far stranger, but we haven't been far off.
Listen, what I always say, kiddos, is that if there is a problem, and you can do something about it, you don't have to worry about it. If there is a problem that you can't solve, at least then even less of a reason to be worrying about. I mean, if you can't do anything, just panicking and freaking out's not exactly gonna help. You just brace yourself and do the best you can. If it's gonna come, and when it comes, we'll stand our ground. It's gonna be harsh. We're gonna have losses. It's gonna be sad. But if we keep on trying, there might be something after. And it should drum Harano into the minds of young cubs. Worry about that when you're a bit older. Enjoy your youth right now, without freaking out much.
Torsten, I like this one. He's funny.
Yes, I like him too.
Now, scamper off. I'll bring your food down a bit. I help the lad in the kitchen. I don't know, otherwise he's gonna burn this place to the ground.
Thank you.
My street is just determined to make noise tonight. I think a lot of it doesn't catch on Discord, but I see on OBS catching on stream. So I assume it does. Anyhow. Julian leads you down towards the basement of this place. Small trapdoor that, well, not that small, but that leads you underground. The light dims as you go down, replaced by that very artificial blue. Wires and cables of all sorts start taking over the walls, all leading to the center of the far corner of this room, right opposite to the staircase, a wall covered in monitors. Those big, old, hunky CRT monitors. All connected to a bunch of contraptions and machines and different CPUs and keyboard. And in the chair, right in front of it, is lying down a woman, just got in jeans and a dark hoodie. Seems to be more like more fancier get up underneath it, but she's a bit casual right now. She has a beer in hand, just staring at the screens that are displaying a lot of different things. Some of it are camera views, other things you can't even begin to put a sense to. Others seem glitchy. You might have seen a glyph or two, you're not sure. Just her dark hair tied up. And she slowly turns around in her chair as you walk in. Well, brought some new friends, have you? Are you all gonna be doing the thing?
Rota isn't listening to the question and just points to the computer machinery, and she just says, "What's that?"
Oh, right. I guess most of you wouldn't have seen something like that. There's not a lot of computers in Kempten either, so... this... She leans a bit. I'm gonna be honest, this is
She
pure
also
luck and bullshit.
reverts to her breed form.
Oh yeah, you absolutely can inside this place. Hugin has done the same. I'm gonna be honest, this is some bullshit. And honestly impressed this even worked. Do you know how hard it is to get a signal out here in this nowhere place? And that's what spirits are for. Made beautiful, beautiful thing here. It's holding by our hair strained. All of this could collapse in a second, but it's working so far. This is my little pet project. This gives me access to the whole city, which might sound impressive, but it's not a lot. I think I can count like 3 buildings that might even have security cameras on them.
She looks at
But,
each of the cameras while he's talking.
she's
talking, sorry.
this is my little window out into the world. This here helps me connect outside and with my tribe back in Frankfurt and from there other places. This is our little on digital moon bridge to other stuff. But that's all in good. So you're here to hunt some bad medicine. Oh, I can't wait to see how this gonna turn out. And as she smiles at you, we are gonna be closing it right here.
Alright.
Yeah, boy.
Time to beat up Magadon.
Who?
Exactly.
Huh?
Don't worry, that is
Okay.
going to be a question next session. Don't worry about that. She will explain.
Huh?
They will be Magadon.
We'll
But
get
no.
it. Megadon.
Megadon. Yeah.
How about we mega don't?
Bold Megadon. And this is where we close off our session for tonight. It's getting close to our time, and I think we've had some great talks, and the next stages of this are going to be interesting. Your first
a really fun
official investigation as a full-grown Garou. Pharmacy conspiracy.
I'm a big wolf.
I've been dying to
okay,
introduce a
cool,
plot
now.
about pharmacies and the whole like Banes and medicine bottles for a while, and I didn't have the opportunity to, and I finally do, and I'm gonna go all out with that. So I hope we're all gonna
Hell
have fun
yeah.
with it. Very excited for this. And I would, as
Yeah,
always, like to thank my beautiful players for being here, for such wonderful characters, for the amazing play. And a thank you to all of you who watched us, both live and then on YouTube. A reminder for those on YouTube that if you want to catch us live next time, you can check the link in the description to find us on Twitch every Wednesday at... That's 8 p.m. UTC, right? Yeah, 8 p.m.
think
UTC,
so.
yeah. Just realized something. That's unrelated.
Yeah. Or no. 7? Or maybe Universal Time?
No, it's 8
It
p.m.
should be 8 p.m. UTC.
No, it's
Yeah,
8 p.m. It's 8 p.m. I got confused
Oh.
because it's 5 for me and it's 8 in UTC. And then my brain just got lost for a second. But
I
yeah,
also
8
got
p.m.
lost because
UTC.
I did math wrong.
Nah, I don't do math. That's not a thing I do. Anyhow. Thank you all. I hope you'll be around for next Wednesday for next session. Thank you all so very, very much. Have a good night, a good rest of your week. And I'll see you with another tale from Kempten. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.